We're the Newbys. I'm Tara.
I'm John, and this is Little Crusoe.
Welcome to our van tour.
This is our second van that we've built ourselves.
We needed a second van because Crusoe came into the world, so we needed a little bit more space from the first one that we did back in 2020.
This is a Renault Master Business long wheelbase L3H2. So we're going to show you around the van. It's a little bit different from other van tours that you may have watched. We've learned from the last van that we built what we like, what we don't like, what we need, and what we really don't need.
We also learned how much fun it is to travel in a home on wheels, and we wanted this to feel like home, especially because we were now a young family moving into the van and traveling this way. We're fairly confident that this is going to be a van tour and a van unlike any that you have seen before.
I would say it's a love affair of wood. It's a indulgence in design and a collage of creativity. And we're super proud of it.
A collage of creativity. Love
exactly
it.
What it is.
Exactly what it is. If you're watching this, perhaps you're thinking of building your own van one day. And
yeah.
We hope that this van, our story, and the way it's built will inspire you to give it a go.
Sorry, Crusoe's just learned to stick out his tongue.
Before we go into the van and show you around, please do consider hitting that subscribe button just below and helping us grow. If you enjoy the video, hit that thumbs up and give us a like, and leave us a comment and let us know what you think. We would love to hear from you, and we always get back to you.
As a family of adventurers, you can expect to see us on the road a great deal.
And over the coming months, we've got big plans to explore Eastern Europe, and eventually towards the end of the year, we will be flying home to my home, back to Africa, for some time in a different kind of van, but still living life on four wheels.
So very much hope that you enjoy this video, and really hope to see you again somewhere down the road. Let's get on with the show.
Let's get on with the show. So before I've got to dash off and put the baby to bed, let me quickly show you around. This is the kitchen. Really like cooking, and we really like eating, so we wanted loads of space, and I think this space epitomizes what we're saying about the fact that it looks like a home. In our first van we had some really nifty long drawers that slid under beds and all the rest of it for storage, but in this kitchen we've gone for cupboards instead, and they're actually working really well, and they look fab. Something that's been really key for these cupboards to be successful is this non-stick mat which we put below everything. So all of our jars and nuts and seeds and extra milks and things all just fit in there, and they don't move around when we drive, which is really important when living in a van, because there's nothing worse than setting off and hearing everything going crashing behind you. So the third and final biggest cupboard in the kitchen is where we keep all of our pots and pans, and it does have heaps of space. It fits everything in really nice and neatly, and as you can see, we have had to leave almost nothing. So something that was really important in this van was that we had a 2-ring gas hob with the gas installed and fitted, and this has proved to be amazing. And to have all of this space around it for me to chop and prepare and get everything ready, it's great. It's a real treat in a van. We also wanted a fridge with plenty of space to fit everything in, and this Snad fridge is doing us wonders. It really has been fab. We have got an Amazon affiliate store, so if there's anything as we go through the van that you think, actually I really need that, or that looks fab, please consider purchasing it using the link below. One thing that worked really well in our last van was being able to have lots and lots of herbs and spices for cooking, so we emulated it in this van, and this has come out really well, and we're really pleased with it.
I love wood, and I love building with wood. You stay there, boy. No jumping off the bed.
We told you this was going to be a unique van tour when we started. Bet you've never watched one when everybody's trying to entertain a baby.
Sit up. You're on the telly. I'm not a carpenter. I'm self-taught hobbyist and I absolutely love playing around with wood. When we started building this van, really we had an idea of how the layout might be. Yeah. We was thinking, okay, we'll have a kitchen, it'll be a big kitchen, and we'll have some benches and we'll have that pull-out table. That's a great idea. But we didn't really know how this part was going to be. And I didn't draw it, I just basically made it up as I went along. I think sometimes the best ideas just evolve. What I did, rather than making a plan, was to let the wood shape the project. So I took pieces of wood and I bent them around here, and I bent them around here, and then suddenly we had a shape that didn't have any rules to it. There are no rules to these shapes. They just kind of went there, and that's how they fitted. I know, little man. Are you going to stay there? Are you going to stay there? What I really love about it is how it's all come together really nicely. We've got a lovely long curve here. We've got a really tight one up here. It frames the bed area superbly, and then we've got this routed piece of wood around here and some drawers. So we've got 4 drawers here. We've got the 2 drawers at the top. These are small drawers that I put together. They hold just little bits and pieces in them, electrical goods and what have you. Always handy to have drawers like that. This middle drawer is, I think, the most useful and my favourite. You ready, Crusoe? Pull, 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 pull. This is the table, and it gives us so much space. Tara will use the end part here when she's cooking in the kitchen. It kind of finishes off a nice U shape for her. And we use this as a working table, and of course, it's our dinner table too. And when we're finished, we can just push it out of the way. No problem at all. Those are 1.5 meter long runners. In the bottom drawer, everybody needs a drawer like this. This is the drawer that you have in your house that just basically has everything in that gets stuck away in a corner. So this is our drawer. It's quite tidy at the moment. Tara, did you tidy it?
Yeah, you got tidy for the van tour, man.
Yeah, out of sight, out of mind.
It's quite tidy at the minute. Usually it's a bit of a faff opening that because there's some plug or other getting stuck.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. But anyway, every van, every house needs a drawer like this. I'm worried about that melon. Have you got the melon? Are you looking after it, Crusoe? Underneath that, we created very simple storage, easy to access. There are 3 baskets there, and that's got Crusoe's clothes in it. He goes through quite a lot of clothes because at the moment he is feeding. He's learning how to feed himself, which involves quite a lot of mess. Okay, what else have we got on this platform here? We've got a little cubby hole here. And we have got some electrical stuff over here. I'll go through all of the electrical stuff a little bit later.
So this is obviously the bed. Now, one of the reasons we went with the Renault Master was because it gave us enough space to have a bed lying sideways across the van, which of course then freed up so much more space for us to have the living room and kitchen area with a bit more space. So we sleep with our heads this way, feet tucked in there. It's 6'1" long, and it's a full-size double bed. Super comfy, and it's working really, really well. So one of the biggest van life arguments of all time is whether you have a fixed bed or you make your bed every day. We have had a fixed bed in both vans that we've built, and we honestly wouldn't have it any other way. We didn't want to be messing about making a bed at the end of the day, especially with Crusoe on board, because if he goes to bed a bit earlier than us, we kind of have to sneak in at the end of the day rather than be clanking about making our bed. The other thing that we took into consideration when thinking about our bed was where Crusoe was going to sleep. We went through lots of different ideas. Do we have a folding down bed? Do we build him a different crib? Where do we put him? But actually what worked out really well was to just put his little sleepy head in the corner here. It's on top of some quite clever storage solutions that John came up with. And I still have a bedside table next to the side that I sleep on. So this has worked out perfectly for us, and it means that when Crusoe gets a bit bigger, and needs to move elsewhere in the van, we still have a usable space that isn't a baby cot that isn't usable anymore. So on my nifty sideboard is a little jar for my jewellery at the end of the day, a charging USB port and a storage cubby. As you can see, hardly scratched the surface with the amount of space in there.
Crusoe would now like to show you what's underneath the seats. It's your turn.
Your turn.
Are you ready? We're taking away this huge cushion. Thank you very much, Tribal Textiles in Zambia. We had all of the cushions bespoke made, and inside here we've got extra storage space. We've used a couple of fabric boxes in here from IKEA. Super simple and nice to tuck stuff away. This side I think is Tara's side. This is all her clothes. And I haven't boxed in any of this underneath from behind or from the sides. And the reason I haven't done that is I'm looking to get air through the van, especially for this fridge here. Are you ready for your second side? So on the other side, we've got exactly the same setup, a storage bench, but there's also a toilet. We have down here a piece of wood on magnets, super simple. Off it pops. It's a Thetford porta potty, and we use some organic chemicals in it so that when we tip it away, we don't feel too bad about our... And then when we need to use the toilet, we just pull the toilet out and then sometimes use it. Does it work? Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Crusoe, for showing us the toilet. We appreciate it.
One of the most exciting additions to this van that we didn't have in our last van, apart from the toilet, is running water. This is a total game changer and I am so grateful for it. To be able to do our washing up is mega. Wash your face in the morning. This tap also extends out so we can have a quick shower and a rinse off at the end of the day. And there's plenty of water on board. Beneath this sink and in this kitchen cabinet is a whale water pump and a 75-litre water tank, so plenty of water on board. If you're looking for any of this stuff, please check out the links below. If you shop using those links, it's a really cool and easy way, free to you, and we get a tiny kickback from Amazon if you make a purchase using one of our links.
Yeah, thanks very much. And the good news for you is you know you're getting the right product.
Yep.
And it doesn't cost you anything more.
Exactly. So last little bit of storage in the kitchen, which is proving super handy, is this little shelf where we've put our tins. It's kind of like having my own little tin pantry. Really easy to get to, gets them out of the way and not taking up space in the cupboards. And we also panelled this panel, which was part of the van already, covered it in the same wallpaper that's on the dining room table, and it's made a really lovely feature of the sliding door. And I think finished off the room rather nicely.
We have strapped Crusoe in for this one. It's electricity time. We have here a power inverter controller. They call them a remote control, but they're not really remote controls because they've got cables that go from the back of them to the inverter. This one is pretty handy because it's got a nice battery controller so we can see how full the battery is. We don't want the inverter on very much because most of our electricity in here runs on 12-volt DC. So for the most part, this is turned off. The fridge even runs on 12-volt DC. We've also got another USB port here, same light next to the bed. That's so we can charge up our telephones, and there's also a USB-C port so we can charge up slightly larger gadgets too. We've got our plugs here. These are plugged directly into the inverter, so when we are not using the inverter, these won't obviously be working. But the good thing about that is when we park up at a caravan site, we can always unplug these from the inverter and then plug that into the caravan site directly. So we've always got electricity in here. And the same goes for the fridge. It is a 12-volt DC fridge, but it also runs off 240-volt. It is a rock star fridge. Everything is freezing cold in there. It doesn't take up very much energy, and the solar that we've got on the roof certainly is more than enough to have it on all the time. It's also silent, which is a little bit weird, but it works very, very well. We've got lights. They also run off of solar. They're 12-volt, and we've divided them into 3 different sections in this van. The first section is over the beds, and the reason why we've done that is so that we can put a blanket up across here turn the lights off at night and Crusoe can have some dark time so he sleeps better. The lights in this area can be then left on. We've also got a third secret light, which in the middle of the night time, if we're using that wonderful toilet, we can remote control turn on. You can't see it, it's that dim. But at night time, it works extremely well. Watch this. We've also got a climate controlled fan. The climate control we don't really use very much. Basically what that means is when it gets too hot in here, that will automatically come on. It runs off of the 12 volt DC as well. So running off the solar panels. It's working both ways. So it sucks air out and it pulls air in, which is really great. Thanks, Crusoe. Yes, my little man. When we're cooking here, the steam gets dragged straight out of the van, even when the doors are open. And important, safety first, always, we've got a carbon monoxide alarm for the just in case situation. Costs about 10 quid, and it is peace of mind.
So in the spirit of making use of any available space, there were these cavities in the back of the door, and John built these very handy little spaces to fit extra bits and pieces. We like to slide some shoes in there if they're extra muddy or dirty and just let them kind of be out of the way and not causing a problem. We also have the two shelves at the front of the van next to the sink, which house our toiletries and extra bits and bobs that we might need throughout the day.
This is the guts of the van. This is where all of the stuff that makes the van work lives. We've got the LPG gas tank right here. It's inside an airtight box, which extracts out to atmosphere. Fairly handy. We've also got our controller, our fuse box and our inverter. We've gone for the Victron energy controller. It's certainly one of my favorites. It comes with a fairly handy app which can tell you how much energy you're getting from your solar panels and how much energy you're using as well. So you can often see whether there's a deficit or whether you're actually taking on board energy whilst you're running things like the fridge and your fan and your lights. We've got two 110 amp hour batteries. They're leisure batteries, of course. That's more than enough to charge for a couple of days, 3 days on the road without having to worry about whether or not we get any solar. We've got a bunch of storage here as well. Like we were talking about earlier, we've got some plastic boxes that slide nicely in there. And we basically find it almost impossible to fill up this space. It is perfect for our requirements.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. We have an ambition to get our little son Crusoe here to 100 countries before he goes to school. He doesn't know it yet, but it's going to be quite an adventure.
I'd say he's enjoying it so far, and so are we, and we would love to have you along for the ride. As we've mentioned a couple of times, any links to products that we've used in our van build are listed below on our Amazon affiliate store.
We hope you've enjoyed this tour of our van safari.
And if you would like to safari with us, which means journey in Swahili, please make sure you've hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and we will see you next Sunday from somewhere on the road.